I think 2022 is genuinely a pretty underrated year for the Cars diecast line when it comes to new releases. When you think of that year and new cars, most people probably think about Cars on the Road and all the new items that we got from it within the last 2 months or so of the toy line. But I think people often neglect to talk about just how solid the movie lineup for diecasts was this year. We got only about 6 or so new movie releases, but of those, we had a really good balance, getting a few different items from each movie. Something that I talk about a lot on my channel, something that's very important to myself as a collector, is seeing balance in the toy line, getting an even amount of items from each of the films in any given year. And that's something that they did pretty well in, say, 2014, 15, 16, early 2017, but after Cars 3, it really hasn't happened. Of course, Cars 3 continued to dominate the diecast line for the first several years after it came out, which made sense. There were a bunch of new characters, but even in 2021, everything except for literally 2 items, one of them being Sarah Wilson, who the car we're reviewing today is a repaint of, were from Cars 3. In 2022, they gave us pretty good balance when it came to movie releases. And then, of course, Cars on the Road, and, well, it's been all downhill from there, right? Cars on the Road took over the line for the next 2 years, and for the last 2 years, we've only had expanded universe cars, and we're lucky to get more than one new movie release. But I genuinely think we were on such a great track in 2022, getting all these brand new background characters and character variants from each of the 3 Cars movies. It was genuinely so cool, and we started getting categories of cars that were genuinely incredible. Okay, 2022 gave us new Cars 2 Radiator Springs visitors, something that really hadn't happened in the line before, save for 1 or 2 random items from the past. And Dana Crankoff similarly falls into this very cool category of something we only saw 1 or 2 items from before, that being a Cars 3 camera car. 2 categories that I'm shocked they never really did much from for Cars 3 were pit crew members and camera cars. There are an absolute ton of items for both of those categories, and they've barely scratched the surface. For years and years, I was begging for Cars 3 camera cars, and in 2022, we finally got one with Dana Crankoff here. We got a few before, like Biz Torkson, who was a Super Chase, which was kind of wild, and really, that's kind of the only other one. There are so many different paparazzi cars in Cars 3. Cars 3 is the movie where Guido spits at the paparazzi, and we all laughed, and they really didn't do much from this, and I hope that when the day comes that we're back to getting more frequent movie releases, they pick up where they left off and continue with more camera cars. But with how random the Cars diecast line can be sometimes, I don't know, but I think we're really on the right path in 2022 with movie new releases, and it's a shame we've barely gotten any since. Anyway, guys, instead of looking at some upsetting things from the current diecast line, let's turn it back a few years and look at a pretty cool item from a couple years back. Welcome back to another review and to another 2022 Cars diecast review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Dana Crankoff. She, of course, was part of the 2022 Cars diecast mainline. This is an item that I have wanted for years now. It's genuinely been top of my list, probably my most wanted item since she came out in 2022, and her wave unfortunately missed my stores. I think she was in the same wave as Bertha Butterswagen, another incredible 2022 Cars movie release, and I finally got her last Christmas. I found a really good price for her online, and my mom picked it up for me for Christmas, so shout out my parents as always when it comes to these Christmas hauls and birthday hauls. Poor Dana has been pushed off to the side for several months. I have not been making nearly as many reviews as I've been hoping to, and oftentimes I've been finding some new stuff or have some other things that kind of got in the way of reviewing Dana. Now it is finally Dana's time. I found a new Mini Racers 3-pack at Walmart today, and I pushed it off to the side. I said, no, as much as I want to open this, it's Dana's day, Dana Crankoff day. Let's get started. So yeah, super excited to finally have this item. Cars 3 camera car. Again, something I think we really, really need a lot more of. Some very nice artwork for her there. You got the stadium background, of course. And yeah, these are some of the other Cars 3 items you could get in 2022. Pretty mediocre year for Cars 3, I'd say. Rusty's Cruise, APB, Liability, Jambalaya, Chimichanga, The King. I did not remember The King being out that year as a Cars 3 release. Manny McGear and Jackson Storm. It's really not often that I unbox Cars 3 items on the channel. at least not these days, since I have basically, I have most of the Cars 3 items in the diecast line since I started sort of hardcore collecting in 2017. So if you look at my playlist where I organize all the items in like the current diecast line, right? Like on my channel page, I have all the items that I've bought from the first Cars movie from the 2022 to 2026 red background diecast line, and there's like 30 videos in there. And then for Cars 2, there's about 10 or so. And then for Cars 3, there are like 5. I have not bought many Cars 3 diecasts in the past few years because there haven't been too many. But yeah, I'm super happy to have Dana Crankoff here. And this is genuinely a really great item. I don't think I knew what her face looked like. This is one that I don't see much of online. Pretty obscure release. And yeah, she looks genuinely fantastic. Look at that facial expression. It's such a good Cars camera car face. It's just this sort of confused look. It's not an over-the-top confused look, but it's a really, really great facial expression. She is, of course, I believe, a repaint of Sarah Wilson from the 2021 line, who was a camera car from the background of the first movie. I think they're the exact same mold. Yeah, you could tell just looking at those windows. But, of course, we have a lot of differences here. She's not just a straight-up repaint. We have a different facial expression, different wheels, as you can see. We even have a different camera, which is super cool. I don't think I ever realized that. But yeah, Sarah Wilson here has this sort of chunky RSN video camera, and Dana Crankoff has a much smaller photo camera. And I gotta say, that might just be the best camera sculpt I've ever seen in the Cars diecast line. We have a lot of different looking cameras, obviously, from all the different paparazzi cars we've gotten over the years, but this just looks so good. It's also a very modern camera. Yeah, wow, look at that. This piece is going to be non-removable, I believe. I don't want to try it. It's not one that you have to attach separately. As you can see, it comes attached to her right out of the box. So, yeah, I really, really love that facial expression. I also just absolutely adore this shade of light blue. It's very similar to the one that I use on my profile picture, which I use because it's just a shade of blue that I really, really like. It's almost similar to the one on my walls. Wow, look at that. For those of you who don't know, Dana Crankoff actually appears at several points in Cars 3. She's just kind of a background reporter that they use in several different scenes, so she could fit into, a lot of different displays, a lot of different parts of the collection pretty well. We've got silver door handles, and I don't know what happened there. Painting the black line looks like it didn't go too well. This side seems just fine, but this is definitely a defect on my end. Look at that. Just not fully painted. You could probably go in with a Sharpie, but I like to leave it. I don't like to modify my items out of the box unless it's duplicate. This is just, what happens when you buy some items sometimes, right? You're going to get a defect every once in a while. I really like how the wheels look there. Pretty nice and shiny. On the back, her license plate reads B1218T. Please be different from Sarah. Oh. Sarah doesn't have a license plate. Actually, this is another place where the mold differs because the whole back is different. Dana's taillights are molded in, and they're a different size and shape than Sarah's, and she also, of course, has space for the license plate. So it's really not just a repaint. It is, I'd say, like a modified version. It's not a completely different mold, but they did more than just change the face. As you can see, they made a couple of different alterations. I want to say the back windows are different sizes as well, but I might just be thrown off by the fact that there's a black border painted around Dana's and not around Sarah's. There is a look at the other side, and finally there is a look at the base. And yeah, this just really makes me wish that we'd gone in sort of a different direction after 2022 when it came to movie new releases. The Cars diecasts we're getting that are new releases look the best they've ever been these days. Whether it be the 2022 movie new releases or the Cars on the Road items we got, even the Expanded Universe items we've been getting these last few years look absolutely incredible. And I really can't wait for the day that we go back to having more frequent movie releases. I think that day's got to be coming, even if it takes a few more years. I'm going to be keeping my head up high because, come on. Dana here for being a background camera car in Cars 3, just a couple seconds of screen time. looks absolutely incredible, and I love all the little changes they made so that she's not just a repaint of a car from the other movie. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I did the snap too early. Why did I do that? I'll see you guys next time. There we go. Bye now.